Testing. All right, so last week I had a fabulous week with my sleepover trades. Thanks to all that crazy, wild Iran war madness and chaos that's going on. Made out like a bandit thanks to my sleepover trades. So we decided to throw the kids in the car and take off for a week to Sedona, Arizona, and relax and chill and try to become one with the red rocks of Arizona. See if we could see any aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot, or find some vortexes we could get sucked into. I've never been to Sedona before, but I've heard everyone talk about how amazing and beautiful it is. And I've heard a lot about it. Yes, there's a lot of UFO and alien lore. Supposedly there's some place called Secret Mountain that's right there in Sedona, where allegedly there's an alien base buried deep within the mountain. And as crazy as that sounds, supposedly it's really true. Where there's some sort of like maybe it's like a government or like a dark black government project that has this big base up there. And apparently you're able to go out there at night and see UFOs like flying out of the mountain, followed by a bunch of Black Hawk helicopters. And all this is, this is all allegedly really true. And I'll leave a link in the description below of this little video documentary that this news guy did where he went out there and viewed them. And you can actually see them and hear all the wild stories and claims from the Sedonians themselves. So anyway, we thought we'd go out there and see the sights and see if we could catch a glimpse of some UFOs and aliens ourselves. Because I've never seen one of those suckers. Gosh darn it. I'm feeling left out. So we landed in Sedona and everybody was right. That place is beautiful. I mean, look at these rocks. So we drove around Sedona, saw all the tourist spots. There's that church. They have this church that's built right into the rocks. There's a shot of beautiful Sedona, these big mountains sticking up out of the ground. And what's so cool about Sedona is that there's so much green. Like, I don't know a lot about Arizona, but it seemed like when we were in Phoenix, it's all pretty much just dirt. Up here, we got those red rocks, and it has that desert feel, but there's a ton of green, like trees and forest-like areas, and it just really makes this super nice, cool-looking landscape. It's beautiful. So we did a quick hike out there amongst the rocks and did the whole traditional picture thing. So look at this. Check this out. So both of my daughters, these are my two daughters and my wife, and both of my daughters were into cheerleading in high school. And when I was looking at these photos, it suddenly dawned on me. Look at these poses. Like, they just automatically, I think without even realizing it, they go into this automatic cheerleading pose. I mean, that's not a natural pose. And they just do it unconsciously. Like, whenever someone says they're going to take a picture, whenever they pose for a picture, they just automatically transform into these poses, like the cheerleader pose. And my wife was a cheerleader in high school too, but apparently it's been so long she forgot that pose. But these guys, it's still ingrained in their DNA. They can't help it. Their bodies just automatically transform into cheerleader picture mode. And I had this crazy thing that I was going to try to do where when we hit each tourist spot, I was going to do like a video selfie of the whole family. And I would like say, okay, here we are in, but I would always get the locations all mixed up. I thought that would be hilarious, but no one else in the family really thought it was hilarious. In fact, they were all annoyed and embarrassed, but hey, I'm used to that. All right, here we are at Devil's Tower, Wyoming. So then next we went on the UFO tour where they threw us in this Jeep and they took us out to this place that's right next to a place called the Bradshaw Ranch. And the Bradshaw Ranch is well known in the UFO world as a place where there's a lot of UFO sightings and high strangeness going on. And apparently there's a portal there, like a real life portal. And supposedly it was the portal was such a big deal that the U.S. government went in there and bought the Bradshaw Ranch. And apparently there's been a bunch of sightings of like skinwalkers and aliens and strange creatures and like creatures that were supposedly had gone extinct, like the dire wolf. Like they've seen dire wolves out there. And this guy, the guy who was giving us this tour, he was like right off the bat, as we're driving out there, like 5 minutes in, he kind of like, he blew the whole thing. He ruined the whole experience for me because he claimed that he was out there once sitting there waiting for something to happen. And all of a sudden he saw a T-Rex come walking through like the area right in front of him. He claimed that this T-Rex came out of the trees and then just casually stomped across the ground in front of him like a full-on T-Rex and then just walked into the trees on the other side and disappeared. And it was at this moment that I knew that he had ruined the whole experience. Not only did I feel like, oh great, this guy is totally off the rails. I mean, I'm trying to take this whole UFO thing seriously, and this is how he starts off. This is his opening line, and all my kids thought it was ridiculous and that he was a total nutbag, as did I. And it just brought my whole UFO and alien believing dad credibility not only down a couple notches, just totally destroyed it and stomped it into the ground. And none of my kids had any chance of taking any of this seriously. So that was a big letdown. Anyway, he drove us out there to this place called Bradshaw Ranch. And let me do a quick sidebar here and see what Google says about Bradshaw Ranch. Okay, so here we go, Bradshaw Ranch. This is a well-known location in UFO lore. So Bradshaw Ranch, located about 12 miles outside of Sedona, is a legendary hotspot for UFO and paranormal activity. Formerly a 90-acre western movie set town owned by stuntman Bob Bradshaw. Actually, the Bradshaw family was the one that was running that tour. That UFO tour we went on. So formerly a 90-acre western movie set, it gained widespread UFO notoriety in the 90s due to claims of glowing orbs, interdimensional portals, and otherworldly beings, and T-Rexes stomping around the ground. Since then, the ranch has become a focal point of UFO culture. Visitors and investigators have reported everything from shape-shifting creatures and animal mutilations to suspected hidden underground military facilities. And then another thing is that apparently the government went in there and bought it. So now it's owned by the government, and there's supposedly some spot on that ranch where they say there's a portal, like a real-life portal. And supposedly the government built a little fence, like 20 foot by 20 foot fence in a square, like a cage basically, around that area where this portal is supposedly. And they have CCTV cameras, like they have like security cameras that are just sitting there pointed at that thing. The security cameras aren't pointed facing out, like as if they were trying to see if anyone was breaking into the property. Instead, they're all positioned to face and point at that little 20 foot by 20 foot square cage fence that's built around this supposed area where this portal is. And I guess, there's like some dude somewhere watching the monitors on that footage to see what's coming in and out of that portal, like otherworldly beings, aliens, shapeshifters, and T-Rexes, I guess. And also supposedly is that like if you try to go out there and like start mucking around trying to get in there, and like if you try to climb over the fence or if you just start hanging around the Bradshaw Ranch, government type people or like black ops people will show up with machine guns and like not be very nice to you and tell you to get the heck out. So anyway, this guy drove us out there, and actually he was saying that he was more into Bigfoot. I mean, he thought aliens and UFOs were cool, but his big obsession was Bigfoot. So we went out there and we had these night goggles where you could see like in the dark, like government grade night vision. And I don't know if we saw any UFO. We saw some things moving around, but I don't know. I wasn't convinced. He really ruined the whole thing when he said that he saw a T-Rex. But he was really into this whole Bigfoot thing. He was convinced that Bigfoot was out there, and he showed my son Connor how to call for it. He had a Bigfoot call that he would call out there to see if Bigfoot would come in and start throwing rocks at us.
But I do the same call, and they just know it's me. Is my best guess.
Okay, he's going to do a Bigfoot call. We're calling in Bigfoot. Was that an echo?
Yeah. Echoes work good tonight. Did you come back off of that now?
I heard the echo both times.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been them calling back.
The most common responses is a big thump. I don't know if it's their foot or their butt, but you can almost feel it. Branches breaking. They'll pick up rocks and clack them together. If we're really lucky, they'll throw some up here. That's only happened. They've thrown rocks at me a lot down at the ranch, but it's only happened once on the tour up here. And that's up to Connor. Connor would have to ask him to throw him a rock so he could take it home.
Connor, do it.
Or Connor, why don't you come out here and you yell to him with me?
I don't know how to do the call.
That's fine.
They like children. They love to eat children.
These are opposite calls.
I do not know how to do it.
Shh. You gotta believe. You gotta believe. Have confidence.
You can't do it wrong.
So anyway, even though the guy sort of ruined the whole thing for me, made me look like a fool for believing in this whole UFO thing by saying that he saw T-Rex stomping around out there. It was still cool. It was fun, memorable, nice way to spend time with the family out in the pitch black dark. And he gave us a tip to check out a place called Jerome, which is right around the corner. Jerome, Arizona, which supposedly is like the most haunted place in the whole entire world. Let's do a little sidebar here and take a look at this. So Jerome, Arizona, here it is. Let's see what they have to say about Jerome, Arizona. So Jerome is a town in the Black Hills of Yavapai County in the U.S. state of Arizona. Blah, blah, blah. This is all boring. Let's get to the ghost stuff. Geography, geology. Apparently it was like a big mining town. And whoever was like running the town or running the mining business there was like not a very nice guy. And a bunch of people died. They didn't respect the dead. So that's why it's so haunted now. All the dead are coming back. They're all pissed off and angry and hanging around Jerome, Arizona, wondering what the heck happened. Let's see if we can see where it talks about that. I think this was the guy here, William Clark. Was that the scoundrel who caused the whole town to be like the most haunted place in the world? Where's the ghost stuff? That's what I'm interested in. Come on. Maybe I should do a search for ghosts. I'm not getting anywhere here. You know what? Let's just go to ChatGPT. Let's just cut right to the chase. I don't want to like dig around in all this. Okay, come on, ChatGPT, do me right. Okay, here's all. Yeah, we saw all these places. Okay, the short version: Jerome, Arizona, often called the largest ghost town in America, sits on the site of Cleopatra Hill between Phoenix and Sedona. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, it was a booming copper mining town with nearly 15,000 residents. Mining accidents, disease, violence, fires, and harsh living conditions led to many deaths over the years. When the mines declined after World War II, most people left and the population dropped to less than 100 people. Why is it considered so haunted? Hundreds of miners died in accidents and cave-ins during Jerome's mining era. The town had a rough reputation and was once known as the wickedest town in the West because of gambling, saloons, brothels, and violence. Sounds like a happening place. The most famous haunted location in the historic Jerome is the historic Jerome Grand Hotel, which was originally a hospital. Oh, that's right. It's all coming back to me. All the stories that T-Rex guy was telling us. Many paranormal stories center around former patients, nurses, unexplained noises. Visitors and ghost tour operators report sightings of apparitions, footsteps, voices, doors opening by themselves, and strange photographs. The most famous ghost story is probably that of the old hospital, now the Jerome Grand Hotel, where guests have reported hearing phantom voices, seen figures in the hallways, and experienced unexplained activities. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Jerome is genuinely creepy. Genuine after dark. Steep, winding streets, abandoned mining structures, century-old buildings. That atmosphere alone is enough to make many visitors feel like they're walking through a haunted movie set. And I concur. That's true. Let's see if we can see some more photos here. So that's at night. Oh, there it is during the day. This little town perched on the side of this hill. I didn't see that. There's a hotel. That's supposed to be the most haunted place there. That ghost tour guy, he was saying that if you take a voice box, like a ghost voice box, or one of those little receivers, that like skips across the frequencies, and if you sit on this staircase of the hotel, that you'll hear a bunch of scary stuff going on, a bunch of ghosts trying to communicate with you. There's another shot of it. Is that it? All right, so that's it. That's Jerome. If you're there, check it out. They had a nice little restaurant there. The Jerome, what is it? The Jerome Cafe or something, where we got some lunch. And I can't say that we actually saw or heard any ghosts, but we tried to convince my son Connor that we did. And I'm not sure whether he believed us or not. All right, today we're at the Grand Canyon.
Yay.
And then we decided the next day to do a hot air balloon ride, which has been something that's been on my wife's bucket list forever. She's always wanted to take a ride in a basket balloon. So we set that up, and they came to our hotel super early the next morning before the sun even came up, and they picked us up in this van, and they started to head out to wherever they were going to launch from, picking up some other people on the way. And as we're driving there out to the launch site, I started talking with the driver, and it turned out that the driver was actually the pilot, which I thought at first was kind of weird. The driver's the pilot also? You're also the pilot of the basket balloon? And he was there with his wife. And as he continued to talk, it began to dawn on me that maybe this wasn't such a great idea. I didn't know anything about hot air balloons, how it worked, and how safe it was or anything. And like I said, as he continued to talk and start to kind of prep us on what we were going to be doing, it became clear that hot air balloonists don't really have any way to really maneuver those things. It's all based, well, maybe there's some skill involved, but most of it is just they're at the whim of the wind. So they launch the hot air balloon up in the air, and then from there, it's really dependent on wind. And like he was telling us all this, and I'm half asleep, and I have my whole family in this van with us, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have we gotten ourselves into? This is going to be a total disaster. This is how the Boomer Dan family is going to die, and it's going to be all my fault because I was stupid and reckless and decided to take them all on a basket balloon ride. And as they continued to talk, it just kept getting worse and worse. They were saying like they have a chase vehicle. So once the basket balloon launches and they're up in the air, they have someone else, which in this case was his wife, who would jump in her truck and go chasing after the balloon. So they had absolutely no idea where the hot air balloon was going to land. It was just like a big crapshoot. And I guess this is how it is with basket balloons. I had no idea. I didn't have any idea how they worked. I just assumed that, they had total control, that it was super safe, and they knew exactly where they were going to go in. How they could steer it, and they could land wherever they wanted. But as we're careening down the road in the dark on our way to the launch site, it became clear that that wasn't the case. And I began to get really nervous and started to feel like the worst parent alive, and that we were going to wind up on the news. The Boomer Dan family dies in tragic hot air balloon accident.
Horror in the skies as a hot air balloon exploded in flames and plunged to the ground.
And I kept looking over my wife. I kept giving the side eye thinking, oh, but what have we gotten ourselves into here? Is this a good idea? Should we just bail? Is this responsible? Are we the worst parents alive? But then they stopped at another hotel to pick up another group that was going to go. And there was a family in that group with kids. So that gave me a little bit of comfort and reassurance that we weren't the worst parents alive. Worst case scenario, that these guys were just as bad as us. So it would be a tie.
Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? We could float among the stars together, you and I. For we can fly up and away, my beautiful
Okay, Sedona Ghost Tour. Okay, here we are. We're leaving Sedona, Arizona. We got Connor in the back. We got my beautiful wife driving. I'm about to get on the trading platform, thinkorswim, and do some trading on the road. And then that was it. We headed out, started to make our way back, took a different route so we could stop by the Grand Canyon and show my kids that wonder. There's Connor the mountain man.
Where's the rock?
We're at the Grand Canyon. Pretty wide, especially when they say it all came from that river.
Yeah,
Well, there's the river right there. You can see it, That little river created all this. All right, today we're at Virginia City, the most haunted town in the world. Help! So, all in all, it was a great, fun, memorable trip. We had a blast. We've made it out unscathed and alive with some great family memories. And we owe it all to this beast, the sleepover trade, for funding the whole thing. So thank you, Sleepover Trade. Keep those winning trades coming. And if you'd like to learn more about this trade, the sleepover, just go over to my website. I'll leave a link to my website in the description below. Head on over there, sign up for my free email newsletter. As soon as you sign up for that, you'll get a welcome email sent out to you. Just reply back to that welcome email and say, show me the sleepover trade. I'll get back to you and we'll go from there. All right, that's it for this one. Have a great week and we'll see you next time.